Welcome to this special edition of news that celebrates all that is good. I'm Mahrukh Inayat. These are stories that might not become headlines and often get ignored in the crowd of breaking news. But these are stories that cheer the triumph of the human spirit. These are stories that document innovation in the face of extreme adversity. And ultimately, they bring a smile to your face. Today we bring you stories from the flood-ravaged Jammu and Kashmir. In a situation like this, it is your grit and determination that helps you survive. During this operation, there were many organized rescue operations that were conducted by the army, men in uniform, and also those who were working in their official capacity. But then there were those who worked against the odds, who ignored the risk and the wise words to save another soul. During my coverage, I happened to meet many of them. Here's a story that we've put together of all those who tried to help. People that we heard of, people that we spoke to, people who ignore the odds just to save others.
Mumbai-based ad man and producer Wasim Khan heard about the devastation through friends and the social network. A Kashmiri by birth, he knew he had to go home. Wasim, along with 4 of his friends, rescued close to 250 people from the worst-hit areas of Gogjibagh and Jawahar Nagar.
We came a little organized. We spent a few days in Bombay before coming rather than actually just landing here. So we went to a lot of people in Bombay, picked up things that we could actually use over here. For example, boats. Without boats, you would just be one more guy stranded trying to help. So we went and asked friends for relief. Dharma Productions, Vishal Dadlani and all, they helped us with boats, motorable boats, HTPC boats, which are actually useful. So we got these boats, HTPC boats, which are hardened plastic, and we could actually go to places where even the army couldn't enter. We would have at least gotten about 200-300 people out from their houses, and mostly they were senior citizens, and mostly they were people who had initially probably resisted coming out because they were scared. It was more like you had to sweet talk them into getting into the boat. So I guess that's why we got more people out who didn't come out initially.
Commodore Dalbir Sodhi took leave and arrived in Srinagar to help in his unofficial capacity. Born in North Kashmir, Commodore Sodhi understands the local conditions and wanted to rescue as many people.
There were areas which were not accessible. Then there were people where you had to actually go climb up the walls, take out people from their houses, and irrespective of their, whether they are a Sikh or a Muslim or a Hindu or any religion, I would say that we were able to take out at least 100 people, including a very, very old couple and 2 sick children.
Shahid Saifi runs a drugstore next to Srinagar's Bone and Joint Hospital. He had gone to save his cousin in the flood-hit Jawahar Nagar area when he realized there were more people he needed to help.
हमारे पास एक बड़ा डब्बा था 3 फुट बाई 6 फुट का, वो हमने लाया था कि हम अंदर कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रहे हैं, तो मैंने वो साफ करके तो हम बाहर से उसके वो केन्स लगा दिया. दैट वाज मोस्ट सूटेबल थिंग फॉर मी टू डू. तो और यहाँ पे मेरा एक दोस्त है, उसके पास टिपर है, तो मैं उसको बोला यार तू भी आ जाए इसमें, एंड ही वाज वेरी काइंड इनफ. उसने बोला नहीं ये तो सबका है काज, तो मेरा भाई भी आपके साथ है, मैं भी हूँ और हमारी गाड़ी भी आपके साथ है. तो हम पहुँच गए जवाहर नगर बांध पे पॉलिटेक्निक के साथ. पॉलिटेक्निक के साथ हमने इसको राफ्ट को डाला पानी में, एंड उस दिन की बात करूँ वो हमने 4 बजे डाला, तो 4 बजे से शाम के 7 बजे तक हमने वी हैव ऑलमोस्ट रेस्क्यूड 35 पीपल.
Srinagar-based supermarket chain owner Nasir Hamid Khan was among the first to reach the submerged areas of Srinagar city. He just had one motivation: to rescue as many people.
We saw that the situation was quite bad and people were quite panicky and the situation was grim. Many couples, senior couples, they were refusing to come out, so they had to be cajoled out slowly because most of them were really in a trauma, in a state of shock. They weren't able to decide what to do. So a couple like Dr. Manas, a very senior child specialist here, and his wife Shivani, they also were refusing to come out. So we had to go there numerous times and talk to them slowly, and we finally managed to get them out.
Barak and his 3 friends were filming a documentary in the upper reaches of Kashmir when they heard of the catastrophe. Instead of being evacuated, they decided to come back to help.
I was surprised to see you here. My first thought was that you were rescued, but it seems that you've come back here to help.
We have. Actually, we were already in the area working on a documentary, and when the flooding started, we figured that since we're in the area that we might be able to help. We have background in volunteering back home and rescue aid as well, so we thought it'd be a good idea to come here and help.
So what do you plan to do? Are you working with a local organization or with locals just going out and helping?
From our understanding, that's really the only rescue going on. So we've tried to link up with some of the locals, the doctors, the people coming in with boats bringing food and medicine. And we brought some medicine as well from the outside that we were told wasn't able to be procured here. And we're planning on bringing that to give to the people.
With no stake in this disaster, these are the unsung heroes.
But there are many, unfortunately, who did not survive to tell their tales. One person was 20-year-old Adil, who worked tirelessly to try and rescue as many people as he could ever since the floods hit Jammu and Kashmir, ultimately losing his own life in the process. His devastated family does not know how to cope up with the loss. But it is the story of Adil that might perhaps inspire many such more endeavors of human courage to help others.
The family of 20-year-old Adil. Adil lost his life trying to rescue people stuck in Srinagar floods. Adil's family was safe away from the flood-hit areas of Srinagar. But for 6 days, Adil and his friends worked day and night to save stranded locals. On the 7th day, Adil left his house to help more people, but never made it back. The family claims that no one tried saving Adil when he was drowning.
तो क्या होता, किसी का कुछ बिगड़ जाता, अगर उसकी हेल्प करते वो भी बच जाता, अगर उसकी कोई हेल्प करता, किसी ने कोई हेल्प नहीं की.
Last seen trying to reach out to more victims with water bottle in his hand, Adil took the plunge without fearing for his life.
लोगों के लिए हिफाजत करके दूंगा. फिर मैं वहाँ पे खड़ा था और जब वो पानी में गया था तो मैंने उसको बोला था कि पानी में मत जाओ. उसने मेरा नहीं माना था. जब मैं पानी में घुसा तो वहाँ पे बहुत सारे लोगों ने कहा था कि उधर मत जाओ. फिर उसने ऐसे ही छलांग मारी. फिर मैंने उसको बोला था आदिल वापस आ जाओ. फिर वो वापस नहीं आया क्योंकि उसके पास जो बोतलें थी, पानी की बोतलें थी, मैंने उसको ज़बरदस्ती कोशिश की थी. मैंने उसको बोला था वहाँ पे मत जाओ. फिर मैं जब वहाँ पे था तो वो पानी में डूब गया. फिर मदद के लिए वहाँ पे कोई नहीं था.
Family circumstances forced Adil to quit school at an early age. A plumber by profession, the Braveheart has been supporting his family. He was its sole earner since the age of 10.
हाँ, हेल्प करने की है, बहुत हेल्प की है. 6 दिन हेल्प की है. मुझे क्या पता. क्या बोलता था आपको जब निकलता था? हाँ, बोलते हैं मैं जाते हेल्प करने. वो बोलता है मुझे क्या पता. हाँ, और मेरे पास कुछ भी नहीं. मेरे हस्बैंड है, इसको आँख में रोशन भी नहीं, और ये छोटा है एक बेटा, ये जल गई, ये पूरा जल गई. मुझे क्या कुछ नहीं.
वो एक सहारा है, वो भी चली गई मुझे छोड़कर।
If it wasn't for Adil, hundreds of people would still be waiting to be rescued to safety in the Rajbagh area of Srinagar. Even now, no help has reached them from the government or anywhere else. On his last day before leaving for the rescue mission, Adil probably had a premonition.
मरने के पहले शाम को बात की थी उसके साथ। उसने मुझे बिस्तर में बोला मुझे शहीद होना है।
Little did his family know that what they thought was a playful mention would become harsh reality. With Mausami Singh in Srinagar, Ruchira Sharma, Headlines Today.
The valley has often been sullied by separatist claims. But when nature struck this heavy blow, the separatist politics and the politics of hatred lost out to the greater human spirit. This is a story where army jawans and locals work together to save lives and beat the separatists right in their backyard. Local relief camps, which is going to take all this stuff, medicines, water, baby food, milk and some bread and biscuits to one of the areas which has been worst hit. We'll be following this relief and rescue mission that is being carried out by a local organization. We're following the relief and rescue missions of a local organization here, and we're now in the bypass area going towards Bemina, which is on the outskirts of Srinagar city and badly affected. We're trying to drive through, or rather wade through water here. This entire road is waterlogged. There's about 2 to 3 feet of water would be a rough estimate. We'll see how far the car can go, and then we'll try and walk through the water and reach the area where this relief is being taken.
Since the relief team couldn't find a single boat, the army decided to help the local team.
अभी हम बाहर खड़े थे तो हम अंदर जाना चाहते थे कॉलोनीज में, लेकिन यहाँ कोई भी बोट अवेलेबल भी नहीं है। यहाँ कुछ लोग हैं, मतलब कुछ फैमिलीज वाले हैं जिनके बाकी के मेंबर्स अंदर है, बाकी के बाहर है, वो अंदर जाना चाहते हैं लेकिन कहीं बोट अवेलेबल ही नहीं है। अब मैं एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम करता हूँ बाय द नेम ऑफ चाइल्ड नर्चर एंड रिलीफ। तो यूजुअली हम क्या करते हैं, हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सप्लाईज करते हैं। आज हमने सोचा था कि हम ये वाला एरिया कवर करेंगे, लेकिन हमें कहीं पे बोट ही अवेलेबल नहीं थी।
A joint effort for a common goal to save lives came through.
As we are moving through the boat colony, the one thing that is very clear is that medicines is the first and foremost thing that people need. Basic essentials of everyday life are also very short. Water is going to be a huge problem. But one thing that is now becoming clear is that a large number of people are refusing to be rescued or moved out of their homes. Through this colony, we've seen people perched on the second or the third floor, but not wanting to move out. And their concern being that they have seen certain miscreants and unscrupulous elements, just like Colonel Singh was telling us, in the area, and they want to protect their homes and not move out. As they have basic essentials which are being provided to them by the relief agencies and the army, they prefer to stay back home because their basic concern is, now that they have survived the worst, it is for them to just stay back and ensure that their homes are not robbed. With camera person Prashant, inside the boat colony, on this Jammu and Kashmir light infantry boat, this is Mahrukh Inayat for Headlines Today. With the highways underwater, it was only through air traffic that the valley was accessible. Over the past few days, the Srinagar ATC has worked relentlessly to ensure that the planes came in with the relief supplies and took off with the rescued people. Overlooked and ignored, it is because of the efforts of these men and women that the Srinagar ATC has been able to manage at least 800 flights on a daily basis and make sure that they take off and land without a single glitch.
This is the busy Srinagar air traffic control. In past 2 weeks, this has become the busiest after Delhi. With approximately 600 flights trafficking through this airport, it's been operating non-stop 24/7. Officers have been called back to duty, cancelling their leaves to handle the load.
My wife was pregnant and she had given birth to a child, a male child. मेरा बेटा होता है, काफ़ी खुशी थी मेरे लिए, तो मैं just यहाँ से छुट्टी लेके घर पे गया था. And actually मैं I'm from Baramulla, which is badly affected due to the floods. मैं छुट्टी पे था तो जब ये हुआ, जब पूरी बाढ़ जब घेरना शुरू की पूरे कश्मीर वैली को, तो I was called back from leave.
Prior to this tragedy, Srinagar ATC used to control some 120 flights on a daily basis. Flooded and submerged, most highways in the state remain closed. Air route became the most important route to reach out. In the process, these men and women are working overtime.
Whatever challenges come, but मेरे साथ मेरे जो officers हैं, हमारे जो seniors हैं, because in station में हर बंदा काम कर रहा है. But we have been told कि आप कुछ काम नहीं करोगे, सिर्फ किसी को संभालो. So और कोई additional job नहीं है मेरा, जो मेरा basic काम है रोज का, वही हम कर रहे हैं. बट ये है कि नाउ इट इज 24/7. एक हफ्ता हो गया 24/7 वी आर मैनिंग ATC, जो वैसे जनरली नहीं होता, बट अभी है, टाइम है, रिक्वायरमेंट है, देश की रिक्वायरमेंट है, तो वी आर ऑन द एयर 24/7.
There are choppers taking off from the airport till 6 in the evening and flights till late in the night. With a smile on their lips, these watchful eyes keep vigil round the clock, ensuring smooth operation.
Unfortunately, these are the stories that we could pack in this half hour. There were many more in the weeks that we were covering this crisis that we witnessed, and there will be several others that will happen in the days to come as the valley limps back to normalcy. In the meantime, remember these stories every time the politics of hatred rips the state of Jammu and Kashmir apart. Don't forget these good stories. This is Mahrukh Inayat signing off from the valley. And for more news and updates, stay tuned to Headlines Today.